Hello everybody. I want to welcome you to the Project Lead the Way Nebraska Engineering K-12 STEM Opportunities Workshop. My name is Sally Way and I am the coordinator of K-12 Engineering Outreach at the University of Nebraska College of Engineering. I want to thank you for all of you and welcome you to this workshop, especially those that are at satellite locations and those that are sitting at their computers. I hope everybody's not having any technical difficulties. The one thing I did want to mention is that there is a 45-second delay, I almost said minute, between what you see, what we move here, and then what you're going to see over there. So if we're playing a video, it's going to be 45 seconds delayed. And we'll try to account for that. We are trying this format for the first time this year. We're broadcasting simulcast to 4 different locations throughout the state, and we wanted to give you the opportunity to be able to see these workshops from throughout the state without having to travel, at least not travel too far. So we thought that smaller groups and local Project Lead the Way schools in a tighter setting would be a good opportunity for communication and for learning. So we're trying this out, so let me know if it works out. And thanks to all of you who have, especially South Sioux City, who traveled to Norfolk to be there. We are going to have a more traditional state conference on June 7th in Kearney at the NCE, the Nebraska Career Ed Conference. And I'll give you more information about that at the end of this workshop. I probably should be... Okay, 45 seconds later, you will see the agenda, which you should have in front of you. We're starting with a welcome. Kimberly Glenn and Robin Schott, which I'll introduce in a little bit, are here from Project Lead the Way to give you a program overview. We'll have a panel to talk about how to get started with Project Lead the Way, a short break where you'll go offline, and the people who are at their desks will stay with us. We'll have lunch and a local panel. And then we will be, Kim will be talking about building Project Lead the Way program diversity through professionalism, and we'll close with some closing remarks from our Dean of Engineering. I've moved to the next slide, which you'll probably get again in 45 seconds. And I will go ahead and move on so we can get things faster. Tony Howard is taking questions. So our questions during the simulcast will be emailed to thoward1@unl.edu. I'm going to just give you a quick high-level overview of what we're doing in terms of outreach at the College of Engineering. We were challenged to come up with a 6-word slogan to tell the story of the college. And what we came up with is transforming Nebraska's potential into fulfilling lives. You will have that, for those of you who have red folders, you will have that on the front of your folders if you haven't seen the slide yet. And that sums up our outreach strategy going forward. Nebraska's potential is our young people, our students at the university and our K-12 kids into fulfilling lives. I moved on to the next slide. So we know that we need more engineers in the state. We know that we need more engineers in the country. So what we're doing as our campaign is changing the messaging. So we need to have more effective messaging. An engineer is not just a white male working by himself on math and science principles. So these are kind of the misperceptions about engineering that we want to change. Engineering is creative. It is working in teams. It is innovative. And it is diverse. So these are the messaging, this is the messaging campaign that we're going to take throughout the state to demystify engineering. Now engineering is all around us. If you take a look at the rooms that you're in, think about what has not been designed by a human. Probably just us, right? or if you have a plant in the room. We do not have a plant in this room. Everything from the technology we're using today, even to the clothing we're wearing, to this pen, has been designed. So what we're trying to get the message out there is that technology and engineering is all around us. Kids are just surrounded by technology throughout their days. From the minute you wake up, the alarm that goes off, to the toothbrush that's got an ergonomic handle, to the toothpaste that has been designed by a chemical engineer, to the cars they ride in, to the cell phones they use. It's all around you every day. And so we are trying to promote an awareness. The slide you'll get next is engineering and technology literacy. That is the campaign that we are taking forth throughout the state. It's really important. The quote at the slide says, nationwide, most students are graduating with only a minimal understanding of one of the most powerful forces shaping society today. So we need to prepare our citizens for 21st century skills. Everybody has to make informed decisions. We are surrounded by engineering. An increased awareness would benefit society on how it influences our economy, our security, our health, and our happiness. So along with technology and engineering literacy, and the best place to start really is with our little ones, in terms of raising the literacy of the state. The NAE, the National Academy of Engineering, has come up with engineering habits of mind. And they are just, basically think of it as a mental toolkit, the skill set you need to attack and solve problems. So we want to equip the little ones, our K-12 students, with the engineering habits of mind. And these are things like problem solving, critical thinking skills, things that if they don't necessarily have to become engineers as a career, but these qualities will help them in life, in any career. Who doesn't need to problem solve? And one of the other initiatives we are doing, we are applying to become an NAE Grand Challenge university. There are a number of Grand Challenge universities throughout the country, and we had, a while back, they had some of the greatest minds in the world come up with 14 grand engineering challenges that are facing the world today. We've added a 15th for our college, which is feeding a growing population. But these are grand challenges such as providing access to clean water, creating new and better medicines, things that are just going to be critical to our society and to the 21st century. So as the college, we will be focusing our research and providing Grand Challenge scholarships for some of our undergrads to work on. And we want to also use the Grand Challenges as the context for K-12 outreach, so that there'll be a continuum. And so the kids in the K-12 community will know what the Grand Challenges are and connect the things that we'll have undergraduates working with them as well, to improving the world, so that they'll have more of a context for what they're doing. And lastly, I just wanted to talk about the Engineering Ambassadors Network. I don't know if there's a camera on me, but in your folders, the ones who have folders, there's a brochure. We started the Engineering Ambassadors Network about a little over a year ago. It is a national network of engineering undergraduate students in universities throughout the U.S. that their mission is to change the conversation that people are having about engineering. They go into the schools and they do an engineering presentation paired with a hands-on activity. Some of you may have had the ambassadors in your school. If not, I invite you to go to our website. It's on the engineering page where you registered for this conference under Outreach. It's also on the slide. And you can sign up for an engineering ambassador visit. We go to kindergarten classes. We go all the way up through high school. It's a wonderful thing that these students do. It develops them in communication and leadership skills, and it also spreads the word about engineering to the K-12 community. But these are just short touch points. We call them short-term inspirational programs. You know, we will go into a classroom maybe once a year. Or we do events. We do events at the Children's Museum, at different museums. But those are short-term inspirational touch points for these kids. What we are looking at is more long-term relational programs. Those are programs such as Project Lead the Way. So this is why we're pairing with Project Lead the Way, to get into the formal classroom in which students can be on a continuum from K all the way through 12, to learn about these skills, to develop those engineering habits of mind. So we do need to have both. We need to have kids coming on campus and ambassadors going into the classrooms, but really where you're going to touch the students and their lives is really through the long-term relational. And so that brings me to Project Lead the Way.